Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of LA Noire. Let's continue from where we left off here, and we are going to be doing the next Vice case, so let's do it here. If you guys are enjoying the series, drop a like, it helps a lot. Reefer Madness. That's marijuana. I'm pretty sure I've never played this case before.
You know a Freddie Calhoun?
Sure, I know
Freddie needs money to get out of town. Says he's prepared to blow the whistle on a primo reefer distribution ring. Says he
Has
can...
he said how much it's gonna cost?
$50.
And the department will front me the 50?
You can put in an expense claim. He's over at Mike Lyman's on Hollywood Boulevard. See what you can find out.
Yeah, so, this case, I'm pretty sure I've never done this case before. I'm pretty sure this is a DLC case, so this is gonna be new for me. I'm not gonna know the right answers. I'm not gonna know.
Do they think I'm made of money?
No, you just look like you're made of money.
Oh, very good. The kid's on form. I'd say on a scale of dull to scintillating, you're a solid tedious today, which you can be pleased with.
Do you ever listen to yourself?
I don't have the same voices in my head as you do, Cole.
It's him.
Gotta turn music off. I'm sorry, everyone. It's just until I get to the crime scene, it's just because to stop copyright. The last part got copyrighted, by the way.
Get this. Middle of the afternoon, this crazy woman decides to set fire to the hotel she lives in. The fire brigade come and put it out. Couple hours later, she does it again. Phones up Central and says, "I've set fire to my hotel twice today. You'd better come and get me."
Did they send some uniforms around to get her?
No, that's the best part. The desk sergeant, he gets his share of crank calls, says, "All right, Lady Nero, why don't you come on down here?" An hour later, she shows. Hair still smoking, clothes smoldering, smelling like a brush fire.
Also, the reason that officer called her Nero is because Nero was the ancient Roman emperor that actually burnt down Rome, and I think he burnt it down just to write a poem. Nero was one of the most evil emperors of Rome, and he was a pretty psychotic guy. Mike Lyman's bar. Okay, let me turn it on. Can't pause right now? Oh, now I can. Okay. Okay, let's go in. Oh no, please no more copyright, please.
There's a little sneak. That's him in the back, Cole.
2 club sandwiches. Thank you, waitress.
Freddie, you're looking good.
You're gonna help me, right?
That's what I'm here for.
You got the money?
The 20? Sure, right here.
20? I said...
You want the money or the alternative?
Tell us about the reefer, Freddie.
Who's he?
Another good Samaritan. Answer the question.
Brass comes from Tijuana.
That's Mexico.
They bring in 50 pounds a week.
50 pounds? Are you hallucinating, Freddie?
Gets stashed at a house at 1452 North Las Palmas.
Names, Freddie.
The guy at the house is a spick that goes by the name Juan Garcia Cruz. Now be careful. He likes guns. Now, do I get my money?
Do me a favor, Freddie.
Spend the money on a bus ticket. You can't last forever on a snitch jacket.
Let's go visit this Cruz character.
So,
50 pounds of dope. Crazy.
God damn it all, I asked them.
So let me say about this right now here is, back then there was always drug smugglers, you know, ever since drugs have been, you know, just, you know, since the beginning of human history, you've had gangs, basically, even in ancient times, smuggling drugs. So, but back then, you did not have this massive cartel problem in Mexico that you actually have right now. And so 50 pounds, just like at like one place of like, you know, marijuana today, it's like a really big bust. but it's not something that's unheard of. But back then, something like that, like 50 pounds a week, that is just something. Really crazy, really insane. And also, another thing I'll say about this is what a lot of people typically say, and this might piss a lot of people off that are watching what I'm about to say, but a lot of people, when they talk about marijuana, they constantly talk about how the drug is, not dangerous, it's safe compared to, like, alcohol and, like, cigarettes. And look, I'm not here debating on the, on whether marijuana is, good for you or bad for you. My personal opinion on the matter is I think it should just be to a referendum. I just think every state, just do a referendum, just ask the people in the state, do you want it legalized or not? The people in the state want it legalized, legalize it. If the people don't want it legalized, don't legalize it. I just think it should be up to the people to vote on that. But as for the marijuana thing, there are things that both sides won't tell you about marijuana, and I'm gonna try to be fair. I'm gonna try to be fair to both sides in this. The thing that the anti-marijuana people typically say is they typically say that, like, that, this is just as dangerous as, like, heroin or meth or coke. No. Marijuana might be, like, you could maybe argue it's a nuisance. People get high and they do stupid things. But no, comparing it to, like, meth or, like, heroin, no. You cannot compare it to meth and heroin. Meth and heroin are much, much worse. And then you have, like, those crowd of people that basically think that, like, all drugs should be legalized. I used to be extremely libertarian about this. I still consider myself a libertarian, but I used to be extremely libertarian about this, and I basically thought that it was not the government's business at all to get involved in, drugs and, what people basically put in their bodies. But while I don't necessarily have an issue of, like, marijuana being legalized, I think that if you legalize something like, heroin or cocaine or meth, you're gonna have tons of problems. Trust me, you do not want that stuff legalized. It's what Portland did, and it was some massive disaster in Portland. People would be coming in from other states just so they could smoke dope in Portland, and people would be, like, passing out in the streets in Portland. Cops would go up to them, give them basically a piece of paper and see here, called drug help hotline. Nobody would call the drug help hotline. So, like, literally, you can make the argument that, like, marijuana should be legalized, but, like, don't make the argument that, like, heroin, coke, and meth, that stuff, you do not want that legalized. Trust me, it's going to cause tons of problems. And people oftentimes compare it to Portugal, and they say, oh, Portugal decriminalized all drugs. What Portugal did was they decriminalized drug possession. So if you are basically, caught with drugs in Portugal, if you're, like, caught with cocaine in Portugal, the cops are going to confiscate that cocaine from you. They're going to take that cocaine. You're not going to get arrested, but they'll take the cocaine from you and they'll destroy it. They're not going to arrest you for it, so they just stopped arresting people for it. But they still force you to go to rehab. The problem is what Portland did is they basically decriminalized drugs, but they did not force people to go to rehab, and that was the massive problem. That's what they didn't take that extra step that Portugal did. So that's why it worked in Portugal, but it didn't work in Portland because of that. But now going back to marijuana, I'm gonna try not to talk too much about this because I know people want to see gameplay. But basically is, like, you can't compare marijuana to, like, meth and coke, stuff like that. It's not comparable. And cigarettes, while they don't make you high, they have a very negative health effect on you. Alcohol also impairs your judgment just like marijuana does. But also, and this is to be fair to both sides, the people that say, oh, marijuana is completely natural, it is, completely healthy, it's not going to do anything bad to you, that's also a lie. Because anytime you inhale anything and it goes through your lungs, it's going to hurt you. Anytime, no matter what. So even marijuana might not have all these chemicals that, like, cigarettes have, but you're still blowing smoke, through your lungs, basically. So, like, anytime you're blowing anything like that, it is going to, it's going to have a negative effect on you. And the second thing about this, and this is what people really don't like talking about, and I don't know if scientists have proven that there is a direct correlation between this, but I remember I learned about this in school, in law enforcement, when we were learning about drugs. My teacher, he actually sent out an article, and the article that he actually sent out, I remember, he talked about, marijuana and basically schizophrenia, is that people who smoke marijuana, like, multiple times a week have a higher chance of developing schizophrenia. That is terrifying. So while you might not have, if somebody smokes marijuana, maybe you don't have that much of a risk of developing cancer as, like, a smoker, but you could develop schizophrenia. So, like, I'm trying to be fair to both sides. So I also don't like it when people say, for example, that it's that there's not going to be, any negative health effects. So I don't think doctors have 100% proven that there's a correlation between that, but we have seen that studies have shown that there is a higher increase in people who smoke marijuana more have a higher increase in having schizophrenia. And I remember when my teacher he was a detective. He was a detective who was actually involved in this type of stuff. He actually said this to the class, and like half the class was just arguing with him, saying, "Oh, no, you're full of crap, marijuana is, harmless, it's not gonna, do anything bad." But I was just sitting there listening to what he was saying, but like most of the people there in the class, they were just, pissed at him, they were just, arguing with him, stuff like that. For people wondering, I went to college for law enforcement technology. I got a bachelor's in that. I never served in law enforcement, but that's eventually what I wanted to do until I started doing well on YouTube, and, that's what I ended up doing. And last thing I'll also say about marijuana before we get back to the gameplay here is that the other thing that people don't want to talk about when it comes to marijuana is that marijuana causes a lot of violence. And I'm not talking necessarily about I'm not talking about people getting high and, attacking people. I'm talking about the people that are moving marijuana. The people that are selling marijuana, so while marijuana might not be necessarily a very harmful drug, the people that are oftentimes selling it and distributing it are really, really bad people. I'm not talking about the guy who, grows some marijuana in his backyard. A guy like that, is harmless. I'm talking more about, these drug gangs, these gangs and these cartels, these guys who, move tons of this stuff. This guy's, 50 pounds in his apartment. These people who move this type of stuff, these are really bad people, and these are cold-blooded killers. These guys will just kill anybody instantly. If they think that they're a threat to the operation, they'll just drop them. They'll even drop any witnesses. They will kill anybody. If they think that anybody is close to discovering their stash, if they think that anybody's close to disrupting their drug trade, they will kill them. Drug gangs are notorious for their levels of violence and are notorious for eliminating witnesses. These guys are extremely cruel, and you could make the argument that these gangs that move drugs, these guys are even more brutal than the Italian mafia. You can make the argument. So that's what I'm saying. So there's different types of gangs and cartels that move these drug shipments. They don't just do marijuana, they do meth, coke, a few, maybe heroin too. What I'm saying is the people that are involved in the drug trade, the drug distributors, these are some really, really bad people and some really cold-blooded people. And people oftentimes ignore that part about it. They don't think about the people that are distributing this stuff. These are some pretty bad guys. And also, legalizing marijuana is not necessarily going to hurt these drug gangs. A lot of people think that they're going to lose their business. They're not necessarily going to lose their business. Because, think about it this way, is that if you legalize marijuana, right, the government's going to tax it. Because the government's going to want their cut. The government's going to want their cut of taxes. With the government, whenever anything gets legalized, the government always wants their cut. So they're going to want to tax it. So if marijuana basically becomes legalized, that's not going to stop the cartels. It's not going to stop the drug gangs. They're still going to sell marijuana. They're just going to sell it illegally. The difference is that when you go to a dispensary and you buy marijuana, if it was federally legalized, you would have to pay tax on that. And there might be some, extra regulations that you have to go through, which basically it's gonna cost more money. Or you could just buy it from the drug gang, and you don't have to pay any tax on that. So plenty of people are still gonna buy it from these gangs because they're not gonna have to pay tax on it. So when people tell you that legalizing marijuana is just gonna, make all these drug gangs go away and they're not gonna have any more business, that's nonsense. So basically, I'm trying to be fair to both sides, but a lot of times the people that are moving this type of stuff, distributing this stuff, are oftentimes really bad people.
Sure. A hophead like Freddy would raffle his sister for his next score.
And also, I know I'm gonna have people asking me in the comments my personal view on marijuana should be legalized or not. I just take a very neutral position on it. I don't smoke it, I personally don't like it, but I think it should just be up to the people to decide in a referendum. That's just my perspective on it. I don't care, me personally, I don't care if people smoke. I don't have a problem with it. Just don't do it near me. That's the only thing I ask. Yep. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's the people that move these drugs are oftentimes extremely paranoid. And they're constantly on the lookout for cops. These guys are so paranoid moving drugs, if they see a car that they don't know that will pull up on their block, they might open fire on them. Even if that's not a cop, just because they think that they might be a cop. So that's what I'll say about this. Okay. Can't even get a shot. Ah, damn. Now I'm failing to. I forgot R1 is to R1 is to get up from cover. Yeah. Okay. Circles to reload. Okay, just like GTA. Okay.
Shots fired and officers need help at 1452 North Las Palmas.
I'll ask you politely to move on. Next time I won't be so nice.
Also, another thing I'm gonna say is these guys knew that that Cole and
You guys don't half leave a mess. What happened?
Dope peddler, Juan Cruz. You opened fire and, well, the rest of the story tells itself.
So, just commenting on this, like I said, these guys are extremely paranoid. They will watch, like, their block very carefully. They oftentimes have spotters people who, like, you know, keep an eye out. And the thing about this is these drug gangs, oftentimes the people that they hire as spotters are kids. Like, they will hire kids to be their lookouts. The kids will basically look and see if there's cops, and they will warn them, you know, phone, maybe some other form of it, maybe even, they'll even use an old school pager as well. And the reason that they use kids, sometimes they use kids to actually make their deals, like you saw in Breaking Bad. The reason that they use kids is because if kids get caught, they get a lighter sentence. That's prime. So like those drug dealers in Breaking Bad, if you notice that, you know, when Jesse was basically trying to see how their operation ran, and he basically talked to the kid, I think his name was Thomas, and then what ended up happening is the two guys pulled up in the car, he gave them money, and then after they drove away, when they were gone, Thomas gave him meth. And the reason that they had that system in place is because if cops pulled up on Jesse right then and there, when he was just giving them cash, the drug dealers don't have anything on them. They don't have any drugs on them. So there's nothing suspicious about what they're doing. They could deny it. They could just say, oh, you know, he was just a friend of ours, just giving us money. But then, you know, the kid comes over and gives him meth. Kid gets caught. He's going to get a lighter sentence. And so these guys are ruthless, and, like, they even eliminated the kid afterwards. So, like, these guys are very paranoid, they're very unstable people. So, like, the drug gangs, oftentimes, these guys are the most evil gangs out there. Like, the cartels, the guys who are involved in drugs, are some of the most cold-blooded people out there. Like, you know, I would argue they're more cold-blooded than the Italian Mafia, you know, maybe even worse than the Triads, too. More cold-blooded than the Triads, you know, worse than the bikers, worse than the outlaw bikers, unless we're talking meth-head bikers, then that's something else. But oftentimes the people that are involved in these, in this stuff are really, you know, unstable people. Another thing I'll say about this is that these guys, it's not surprising to me that they opened fire on Cole and Roy, because if they got caught, if they got arrested, they'd be dead, basically. They're gonna go to prison for, like, a long time, because of all the drugs that they have. And if they, and even if they somehow survive, their gang's gonna go after them. So their gang's gonna kill them for getting arrested. And even if they somehow escaped, they're still dead, even if they somehow escaped. The only time they would not be dead is if they escaped with all the drugs. If they got out with all the drugs, that's the only time they would escape. But if they literally, escaped, the house got raided, they escaped, and all the drugs got confiscated, they'd be dead. And the thing is, you probably would not even find a body. You would probably never hear from them again, but they'd basically be dead. So that's basically why they open fire, because they know they have really no alternative. That's really the only thing they can do, at that point, is they'd rather go down fighting than, you know, get tortured by their gang. Bullet box, I can already tell it's a bullet box.
Doesn't look like anything.
What is this? Sketchbook? That's marijuana right there. What is this supposed to mean? Marijuana? It looks like an eye? I'll come back to this a little bit later. Let me take a look at some of the other stuff around the house. Dictionary, yeah. They're trying to learn English, too. The Thompson. And also, this is the later variant of the Thompson. I can tell right away, because you notice where the bolt is. The bolt is actually on the right side. The original model of the Tommy gun, the bolt was actually on the top. So this is an older this is a newer variant of the Thompson. This is more the variants they use mostly in World War II. Is this specifically this variant? Yep.
Another day, another
Oh,
dump.
there we go, a soup company.
Doesn't anyone eat regular meals anymore? Junkies feeding on popcorn and grasshoppers living on soup.
The company's a front for drugs. They're probably moving the drugs through the company. Happens in real life too. Plenty of companies are fronts. Shotgun on the wall there.
Find anything interesting?
Okay, let's see. What does this guy have on him? Nothing. What do we got here? Let's see. Juan Garcia
Cruz. This is his address, but this place looks like a front.
We should probably check out his personal address too. What do we got here? What is this?
A silver dollar. I thought they took these things out of circulation.
The thing is, coined dollars actually used to be a lot more common back in the day. I don't know if I recognize this one specifically. Liberty. 1896 is... Technically, in a lot of the coins, they're technically still a form of legal tender. Nothing really died from gunshots. Not here. Looks, is that a Smith & Wesson? Could be, yep. I think it's a double action, yep, probably. I don't know revolvers that well, by the way. I know, semi-auto handguns I know a lot better than revolvers. Here. We got here.
Maybe these are the guys keeping Juan so well stocked with soup.
This is definitely a front, 100%. The thing I'll say about these guys is these guys that were in this house were not the most brightest of bulbs. Because if these guys were smarter, what they should have done is the second that they got the drugs in those boxes, they should have just gotten rid of the boxes, like thrown the boxes out, so that even if the house got raided, it could not be traced to the it couldn't be traced to the soup company. But now, because they didn't get rid of the boxes, their entire operation is gonna, you know, fall apart. Also, about the coroner, for people wondering why he is here, a coroner is still gonna show up even if the cops had to kill somebody. So even if the cops know what killed them, like, we know obviously his cause of death was gunshots, the coroner is always gonna show up. So just letting people know that people are confused why he's here. Check that backyard. Probably something back here.
Not sure this means much. Nope.
Not necessarily strange. People use, like, cans for, like, you know, holding a lot of stuff, like screws and stuff like that, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily strange.
No good to me.
Screws again. I think I opened the... Are these all just useless? Oh god, what the... Oh.
Phelps, you jump like a girl.
I think it scared him too. Oh God. Didn't see that coming. This is the developers. What do we got here?
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yes.
More soup? Who in the hell keeps a secret stash of soup?
You hungry or something, Phelps?
There we go. Look at that. Marijuana.
I'd say that's pretty good value for 12 cents.
Factory sealed. Someone at the cannery has a lot of explaining to do.
Let's see. Marijuana again. Open both soup cans? Okay. Here.
With Juan dead, we need a new suspect, Cole. Is there a pattern to the deliveries?
Tijuana. Ciudad Madera. I think Ciudad means city, right? In Spanish. Guadalajara. Tijuana.
This guy EJ seems to be bringing in most of the serious weight. Dates and times seem pretty regular. We should notify the border crossing.
Those fuckers are probably in on it. Let's wait and see how this plays out.
Also, here's the other thing I'll say. As much as I don't like Roy, he's actually probably right. The border crossing people are probably in on it. Back then, there was actually a lot less regulation and a lot more corruption, so it would probably be, it would not surprise me that the people involved in Border Patrol are involved in this, and they're getting paid off to look the other way. Is there anybody else that we see on here that's buying a bunch of this stuff, too? Can't go in the garage.
Another day, another dollar.
What's this?
Is this a drug or a village in Borneo? Doesn't appear to be in Spanish.
Sanke? I don't know what that is. That's everything? Okay. Okay. So you guys told me that when I talk to my partner, that the partner will actually tell me the best order to go in. Let me see, where the hell is Roy here?
Help me out.
The soup factory. Where else?
Okay. Let's go to the soup factory.
Thai brand cigarettes. Tex Williams.
This soup
Brother says
factory
the
has lots
morphine
to
is still
answer
turning
for.
up.
Makes sense. We have no idea how much of the stuff Lenny shifted. There's been no comeback from Cohen as yet.
Maybe Confidential magazine is right, and Bugsy is on the slide.
You read that stuff? I wouldn't say it to his face if I was you. That is one hot-tempered son of a bitch.
Any in the vicinity of 211 in progress at 3rd and Union. Stand by for further unit to handle identify.
Right. Let's see if we can find out who's been over-seasoning the soup in this place.
This place is massive. This is a big building. This is a big company. Now, the thing is, though, is I'm just thinking about this. Maybe not everybody involved in this company is involved in this. It might be somebody that's in charge of packaging the cans. They might be the ones who are hiding it. Maybe we're gonna have to see how big this thing is.
LAPD. Who owns this factory, ma'am?
Mr. Parnell. Howard Parnell. I'll let him know you're here. Please, take a seat.
If you don't mind, we'll come with you.
If you must.
The secretary probably does not, the secretary probably doesn't know about the extent.
Her, didn't you?
I have music on. Yeah, I do. Just checking.
Sly dog. I must apologize for my partner's roving eye. He hates saying goodbye, but he loves watching them leave.
Give it a rest, Roy.
The reason Cole said I'll follow you if you don't mind, in case she,
Mr. Parnell, Doris?
in case she was warning, in case she would warn him.
Follow me, gentlemen.
What is going on?
LAPD, sit tight, fatso. You could be in very serious trouble.
There's no reason to be rude. Take a seat, gentlemen. I'm sure we can sort this all out.
Maybe you can explain why we found $5 bags of marijuana in sealed Parnell soup cans.
That's an outrageous allegation.
How do you explain it, Chubby? We found at least 30 cans, all sealed up tight with your label on it.
Can I get a list of your employees?
Of course. We have nothing to hide. Doris, can you bring me in the current employee listing?
Here it is, Mr. Parnell.
On the desk, please.
Okay, that was creepy.
Any name on that list that rings a bell?
It was EJ, right? EJ. Freddie Calhoun. No, Juan Garcia Cruz. Juan Garcia Cruz. Howard is the owner of this company. Okay, Juan Garcia Cruz and EJ. Let's see here. Look at all the names again here. Figure this out in a moment here. Juan Garcia Cruz. Yeah, Juan Garcia Cruz. Let's see if we can find EJ. There's no way that every single person here is involved in this, by the way. The manager could definitely be involved, the boss here, he could definitely be involved. But I highly doubt that every single worker is involved in a place like this. In the operation like this. There's probably legitimate workers, and the thing about this is that, like, if anybody's watched Breaking Bad, there are plenty of legitimate workers at fronts that have no idea that it's a front, because the owners keep it so secretive, like, you know, in Los Pollos Hermanos, in Breaking Bad, is they have no idea that it's a front for meth. Like, no idea, the people that work there. Literally, Gus is the only person that works there, really, that knows that it's a, well, it's, you know, he's running it. But I see names that starts with E, but I don't see anything with J. EJ. Okay. Okay. Some of these guys have no address, which is kind of strange. How would a business, like, how would you hire people when you don't know where they live? I'm sorry if I'm taking my time on this, guys. I'm going to, you know what? Why don't I try JE? JE? It could be a code. Jorge Garcia Cruz. Is that him?
This is familiar. 1452 North Las Palmas. A Jorge Garcia Cruz.
Yeah, Jorge Garcia Cruz. So Juan Garcia Cruz, and I was looking at Juan Garcia Cruz, not Jorge, but I should have known that the name would be a little bit different. Okay. Factory sealed soup cans. Let's see here.
Detective, the pot is on the boil. How about getting on with things?
The factory sealed cans we found suggest a very professional operation, Mr. Parnell. We're looking for an inside man.
I know nothing about this. I want this stopped as much as you do.
Let's see what Q says.
Quit lying, Parnell. How could the cans be coming off the line, sealed without your knowledge? You're the kingpin here.
You want to make an accusation like that, son? You better have some goddamn proof.
You're off the hook. For now.
I wanna see this again. Hang on. Let me try another one. Parnell Soup Company.
How are your sales, Mr. Parnell?
Just fine and dandy, son. We're entering a new era of prosperity. I hope you're both big soup eaters.
That's definitely a I'm gonna go bad cop.
Mr. Parnell, do you know what kind of trouble you're in? Come clean with us.
Okay, so things are a little flat. We're deciding whether to lower production. It's taken a while to adjust to not having any military contracts. You know, we sold Uncle Sam 5 million cans of minestrone.
That is the, Uncle Sam is the government. So yeah, so this isn't completely unrealistic. A lot of these companies made a lot of money during World War II because they were supplying soldiers with food. So yeah, canned food is, the military is definitely going to want to buy a ton of canned food because it doesn't expire for a very long time. Knowledge of Cruz brothers, let me see here.
Ever heard of Juan Garcia Cruz?
Not that I know of.
He has a brother employed here. You know him?
We employ large numbers of Mexicans. I'm not familiar with them all.
Hmm. Inside man Jorge Garcia. Let me see
Don't
here.
run off, detective. I'm counting on you to straighten this out.
Inside man Jorge Garcia.
Tell us about Jorge Garcia Cruz.
Jorge? I had no idea of his last name. His team does daily maintenance on the conveyor belts and cookers.
Ooh, okay, hang on a second. Factory sealed soup cans.
The factory sealed cans we found suggest a very professional operation, Mr. Parnell. We're looking for an inside man.
I know nothing about this. I want this stopped as much as you do.
It's hard to tell whether he's lying or not. It's hard. It's hard.
Ever heard of Juan Garcia Cruz?
Not that I know of.
He has a brother employed here. You know him?
We employ large numbers of Mexicans. I'm not familiar with them all.
It might not even be his brother. It might not be his brother. It might be the fact that he just gave a different first name. That might be it. Just so, you know, Jorge, you know, Juan, you know, that might not even be his brother. It might be the same person. This is just what I'm struggling with right now. I'm struggling to figure out whether he's telling me the truth or he's lying. Inside man. Oh, okay.
Ever heard of Juan Garcia Cruz?
Not that I know of.
He has a brother employed here. You know him?
We employ large numbers of Mexicans. I'm not familiar with them all.
I'm gonna try bad cop.
That's funny, Parnell. He has the same address as his brother Juan, who we shot dead less than an hour ago. You better give me something.
Look, I'm not involved in this. I'm getting enough grief from Washington. There's an investigation going on into profiteering. Like a guy shouldn't be able to turn a buck while the war is on.
I'm sure thousands of dead Marines sleep soundly knowing that you did okay.
Yep. Thinking about America's at war with Japan and Germany, and he's just concerned with sales, not concerned about his country. Greedy CEO. Okay,
Don't run off, detective. I'm counting on you to straighten this out.
I don't have enough for a intuition point still.
The factory sealed cans we found suggest a very professional operation, Mr. Parnell. We're looking for an inside man.
I know nothing about this. I want this stopped as much as you do.
Tell us about Jorge Garcia Cruz.
Jorge? I had no idea of his last name. His team does daily maintenance on the conveyor belts and cookers. Don't run off, detective. I'm counting on you to straighten this out.
Tell us about Jorge Garcia Cruz.
Jorge? I had no idea of his last name. His team does daily maintenance on the conveyor belts and cookers.
I'm gonna go good cop. I hope I'm not getting this wrong.
So he's here now?
No, maintenance is at night. Night shift finishes around midnight. He would usually come in around 9 p.m. and have everything ready for the morning shift at 6. Don't run off, Detective. I'm counting on you to straighten this out.
Oh, I don't have enough for an intuition point. Okay, factory sealed soup cans.
The factory sealed cans we found suggest a very professional operation, Mr. Parnell. We're looking for an inside man.
I know nothing about this. I want this stopped as much as you do.
Try good cop.
You must suspect someone, Mr. Parnell.
Are you sure it isn't someone who stole some of my labels? That would be pretty easy to do.
Damn.
We'd like to take a look around the factory floor, Mr. Parnell.
I hope we won't have to shut down the line.
No, nothing like that.
Thank you. I'm grateful for that. I'll show you around myself.
I should have pressed him more, because the fact that he would...
I hate seeing how things are made. This is gonna be like that time I went to the slaughterhouse and couldn't eat steak for a week.
I should have pressed him more on that. I should have. That he wouldn't know about it, something like this going on.
This is where the produce comes in. We peel and sort all of the vegetables and add them to the line.
Why are they getting so scared?
Quantities.
Fascinating.
Why are they getting so scared?
Why don't you keep quiet? You might learn something.
Oh, good God. This really is turning into some nightmare school trip flashback.
Why are they all so scared?
This is the hopper, which boils and purees the vegetables. The other hopper is for the pasta. This way, please.
You're loving this, aren't you, Phelps?
The soup is ladled automatically into cans. Next stage is labeling.
I'd like to see the packing and dispatch area, if you don't mind.
Sure. It's over here. Follow me. This is one of our dispatchers. Sergio, right?
Yes, sir.
These men are from the LAPD. Sergio here records our outgoing deliveries. They all go in the book. Just there on the desk.
We're looking for repeat business in large amounts, Cole.
It's 20th century market.
What's going on, Parnell? There's enough soup going to this place every day to feed a company of Marines.
What are you talking about?
The market, yep. Yeah, I mean, look at this. The market is taking more boxes than literally a high school. 15. And then 2 days later, 15. What the hell is going on here?
Can I have a look at that coin?
Sure, why not?
Another one.
Silver dollar, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The markings on it say it's been taken out of circulation.
Maybe. I'm not trying to buy anything with it. I like it. Brings me luck.
Something with these coins. Delivery dispatcher at Parnell's Soup Factory.
As long as Mr. Parnell says we can stand around here doing nothing, then it's okay with me.
Factory sealed soup cans.
Do you have access to the canning area?
I do. But I keep to my station. Loading and unloading. Don't care much for soup.
That's this market.
What do you know about the 20th century market?
Nada. I get the orders from upstairs. I send the goods where I'm told.
And you don't know Juan Garcia Cruz?
No, not me.
Let me see what accuses.
You're a liar, Sergio. You're in it, and I'm gonna break you for it.
You're loco, Placa. I got nothing to do with Juan Garcia.
Rare dollar identical to coin carried by... It's a rare coin, but that guy had it too. That's the thing about it is... The thing is, though, is this is extremely circumstantial. Like, this is not proof. This really isn't proof that you know the person. Like, I mean, it's a massive coincidence, and it's probably something here, but it's not really proof. I'm gonna do it this one. I hope I don't mess this up.
We found a matching silver dollar on Juan Garcia. What are the odds of that, Sergio?
Juan and Jorge are brothers. They're cousins. They work for some evil gabacho. The guy is an aberration. He gives out the silver dollars. Jorge gets me a list of deliveries every morning. 20th Century is always on there.
You keep your mouth shut for today and I don't take you in. Do we have a deal?
Do I have a choice?
Is that a serious question?
So, but here's the thing is, in real life, you wouldn't be able to really use it as evidence. It's like that they have like a similar coin they're carrying. It's like, if it was like a specific, very, very rare type of coin that only is like made a certain way, then maybe you could link them. But if it's just like, you know, currency, even if the currency is not in circulation anymore, it's not really proof that they know each other. And I know that was the right answer there, but I really don't like that piece of evidence. I just don't. It's not really proof.
As long as Mr. Parnell says we can stand around here doing nothing, then it's okay with me.
Damn, I still have enough for an intuition point. Factory sealed soup cans.
Do you have access to the canning area?
I do. But I keep to my station. Loading and unloading. Don't care much for soup.
Sergio, if you don't give me something, I'm gonna go to Immigration Services and have you deported.
Whoa.
I get a shipment once every 2 weeks. Ernesto does the driving. I don't know his full name. Gets delivered here at night, or he gets it canned up. From here, it gets sent all over the country.
That's it for now, Sergio. If we need to speak to you again, we'll put in a call to Mr. Parnell.
If you have to, I guess.
We will be in touch, Mr. Parnell. It is imperative that things appear as normal here. Keep an eye on Sergio in case he gets tempted to blow the whistle.
Thanks. I'll do that. You're going to overlook my little immigration problem, aren't you?
Cheer up, fatso. We're gonna let you go on squeezing these poor saps a little while longer. Well, until some commie union types infiltrate this place.
So yeah, so what he was talking about is the majority of the workers at this place are illegal immigrants, and they are working off the books. So he's paying them less than minimum wage, which I don't even know what minimum wage was back then, but it's probably a lot lower than what it is today. But yeah, but he is paying them significantly less. Okay. Locations here. Okay. We're not finished with the factory yet. I should. I'm pissed about that. That I got that first question wrong with Parnell. I should have pressed him more. I'm pissed about that. I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't want to record like 2 different attempts. I always wanted to be my first attempt playing it.
More years than I want to own up to, Phelps. You have any idea who Rojas was talking about? The gringo runs the operation? Could be anybody. You don't expect those morons to be running the show, do you? You ask Rojas how much a silver dollar is worth, he'd probably say 50 cents.
Copyright. Okay, I'm doing better in my driving this time, but honestly I don't care also if I wreck Roy's car.
Sit tight. Let's take a look at what's going on.
Either these customers are serious soup lovers, or I think we found our middleman.
Car 11 King to KGPL.
Car 11 King, go ahead.
I'm requesting assistance in a B-Wagon at 20th Century Markets, 1558 North Highland. Numerous narcotic suspects. Code
They're
2
way
only,
too
no
close.
sirens.
They are way too close.
Okay. Cavalry should be here any minute.
They're gonna notice them. They're way too close.
LAPD, nobody move!
I'll take my chances.
Wow, okay, looks like we got another varsity athlete. That was literally the easiest chase ever. Like, I thought I was gonna chase him up on rooftops. That was literally the easiest chase ever. This guy's the worst varsity athlete in the game.
Whatever you're carrying, hand it over. I'd say he's got about half a can left. I guess that makes me a pessimist.
You can't take me in.
Take you in? Be glad he didn't shoot you. I wouldn't have chased you. If it was up to me, you'd be talking out of a hole in the back of your head.
I want information.
Senor, I would like to help you, but I got a family in Mexico I have to provide for. And my compadres are very unreasonable.
Your compadres? Turn out your pockets. I need Ray to run down these silver dollars.
I need to make a deal. I need guarantees.
You have identification?
Okay, let me see here.
Sanchez Erto, Mexican, Tijuana address.
Okay. Also, he's scared when he says his compadres are very unreasonable. He's talking about the gang, the people that are running the show, the people that are in charge. They're gonna kill him.
Here's the deal, Erto. You give me information, and I won't give you to immigration.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, like LA Noire has a lot of very provocative lines in this game. What's his name? Erto Sanchez, store clerk at 20th Century Market. Okay. Knowledge of EJ.
Give me EJ, the driver bringing in the shipments, or I'll make you for it.
I run the shop. That's all I do.
Yeah, this is either bad cop or accused. 100%. It's definitely not truth.
Tell me the goddamn truth. You are in this with the others.
I told you I know them. I told you my family's at risk. What makes me part of their gang?
The silver dollar. I'm gonna say this. This is some kind of link that he's part of this gang. This. I hope this is it.
You have a silver dollar, Erto, just like Juan. I'm sure Ernesto and the rest have them as well.
The silver dollars are his mark.
Whose? Give me a name.
None of us are allowed to see him. His creatures carry his orders to us. If I gave you his name, I would be buried alongside my wife and children.
If you don't give us something, you will rot in jail while your family starves on the street.
Ernesto Juarez, tonight at 1 a.m. He's bringing the truck into the soup factory. Please help me, sir. Ernesto can be very cruel.
So this is exactly what I was talking about. When I started this case, I told you guys this is what people don't want to talk about. What people don't want to talk about is that the people that are oftentimes, while marijuana might not be a very harmful drug, the people that are moving this drug are really cold-blooded people. The distributors, these gangs, these cartels, the guys who move this stuff are really cruel people. These are really cold-blooded guys, really evil. When he said, I'm going to be buried along with my wife and children, he's 100% telling the truth. They will kill his entire family. Everyone will be dead. So that's what a lot of people don't talk about. When they talk about this, like, marijuana is a very harmless drug, but they don't say the people that are moving this stuff are oftentimes very, very dangerous people. Let's do Parnell's soup shipments.
May I go, officer?
Let's see if I get an intuition point now here. Come on, come on. Yes, I got an intuition point. Okay.
Tell me about the soup cans.
The soup is very popular, as you can see.
I think it's bad cop. Juan and Jorge Cruz.
We know about Jorge and Juan. Juan is dead. Tell us how you know the Cruz boys.
Ernesto put together this thing. He brought in Juan, Juan brought in Jorge.
Juan and Jorge.
We know about Jorge and Juan. Juan is dead. Tell us how you know the Cruz boys.
Ernesto put together this thing. He brought in Juan, Juan brought in Jorge.
That one could be truth. Let's do the soup.
Tell me about the soup cans.
The soup is very popular, as you can see.
Accuse. See.
I think you're the connection on the Mexican side. I think you're more than you like to make out.
So now I'm the big man in this?
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that?
Let me do bad cop.
It's real funny, wise guy. You want to try saying that again with no teeth?
I get a delivery at 7:30 every other day from the factory. Jorge organizes everything.
Juan and Jorge Cruz.
We know about Jorge and Juan. Juan is dead. Tell us how you know the Cruz boys.
Ernesto put together this thing. He brought in Juan, Juan brought in Jorge.
I'm gonna use an intuition point, because I want to make sure I get this right here. Let's see. Let's ask the community. Yeah, I thought it was good cop. I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% certain on it. Okay, good cop.
Continue.
I was already here. Ernesto knows I'm illegal, so he threatened to report me if I didn't help. And the money is good. The gringos and the gringas, they love the reefer. And I didn't want to have to leave and start again in San Francisco.
You're breaking my heart.
You're under arrest, Erto. I'll speak to the DA and see if he will agree to not seize your assets or deport you. That's the best I can do. Freddie said they were moving 50 pounds a week. That's a lot of soup cans.
I think this is an interstate operation. Moving dope around the country to selected grasshoppers. Local weed gets distributed in the usual way, through Pachuco street punks.
Someone must know something about this drug baron character.
Here they come. Let them unload the goods first.
Now?
Let's get them.
That's a sign. Yep.
You're paying for every last scratch.
Tommy gun. Yes, I'm taking this. Okay.
All right, move. Move! Let's go! Everyone into position.
Perimeter is up. The whole place is contained.
LAPD, put your hands where we can see them. Reinforcements are on the way. Cease and desist.
Go, Phelps. Get in there.
Okay. Got a lot of them already.
As soon as he pokes his head out, step on him.
Okay, where's this drug lord?
Clearing some space here.
All clear? I think that's the last of them, Cole.
Detectives, found something here you probably want to see.
What is it?
Tijuana address. We should see what the federales have on it.
That's the Mexican police. Ernesto's, okay. Right here. The Sea of Grass.
$1 per dead man. Doesn't seem like much for a human life.
God damn. I think we found our stash, Cole. Take a look in these boxes.
Damn.
At the very minimum, another 50 pounds.
Detectives, I think we got the guy. Does the name Cruz mean something to you?
It certainly does.
This is hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of all these boxes are this. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars. This the truck they came in with? Also, as for the coins, for people that are confused,
Yet another silver
the coins
dollar.
are basically a sign that they're part of the gang. So basically, one gang member will sell the other gang member the coin, like, "Hey, I'm a friend or member of the gang." That's basically what the coins are used for. This is an insane amount of money, especially back then.
$1,000 here.
Phelps, Earl, looks like quite a bloodbath. What was this all about?
Drugs and money. What else? Speaking of money, where did that roll go?
I picked it up for safekeeping. The department owes me 50.
Ray, I have another 2 coins for you.
Great. I've got something to show you. It's all set up on the table over here. There. Take a look at these coins you've been collecting.
There are letters cut into each coin, along with not legal tender. What does it mean?
Those are Morgan silver dollars from the 20s. They were removed from circulation and sent for disposal. A number of smelters around the country had the contract. Look at them together. Can you work out what it says?
Oh, wait a second. Wait. Assen. Look at the... One more time, how is it spelled? Assen. Let me just, Asseng. Asseng K. There's more to this, isn't there? Asseng K. Asseng K, but... Asseng K...
The first coin, MAS. The second, ANG. The third, KAY. The fourth, MET. The fifth, ALS. Masanke Metals.
A metal foundry. Would you like the address?
Would I ever?
1034 Vine Street, Hollywood. We'll finish up here. It's already been a long night, Phelps. See if you can talk them into giving themselves up.
The drug lord, unless the drug lord was killed here, he's definitely not going to give up. Did the music stop? It kind of stopped, but I didn't hear like that sound at the end that I got all the clues. Also, out of all the Vice cases, this is my favorite one so far, this one. I like this one a lot more than the last one. pick that up too. Just wondering, did I get all the evidence? Did I get everything? Okay, I think I got everything. Hope there isn't something that I missed, but let's get on out of here. Anything back here? No, doesn't look like it. Okay.
For 4 years, the brave men of our United States Armed Forces.
Scrap metal collection plant.
I hope that big wad of cash doesn't weigh you down.
Get your priorities straight, Phelps. We're close to bringing in one of the biggest dope cases of the year, and you're worrying about unsubstantial evidence?
And for people wondering what happens to cash, cash of drug lords, like cash that criminals carry when the police sees it. The police oftentimes will actually use that money to buy police assets. That's the proper use for it. And what I mean by that is, buying body armor, buying body cams, maybe purchasing new vehicles for the police department. It's supposed to go to the good of helping the police department, helping with resources. It's not meant for cops to basically pocket the money. What Roy is doing here is extremely illegal. He's gonna pocket the whole thing.
Locked. We need another way in.
This is an abandoned building. For people wondering, this is probably the place where they stash stuff. When the drugs get into Mexico for the first, when the drugs come in from Mexico, this is probably the place they stash it at, right here. Until they need to move it to, and then what they do is they move it to the, they bring the stash here, and then they probably bring it over to the soup factory, package it there, and then they distribute it afterwards.
Yep, that'll work.
Full house.
Cover the back door, Roy.
God damn it. You win one more hand, Andy. I'm taking my money and going home. And fuck whose turn it is to mind shop. Hey, what can I say? I got lucky. Bullshit. You're cheating, and I'm gonna catch you at it before the... Hey!
Throw out the guns!
Should have known it was gonna end like this.
Stay down!
You okay? I'll tell you when I see what's waiting for us at the top.
How long do you think you can hold out?
Eyes open. He's around here somewhere.
Crap. This is a World War II Thompson right here.
weapons on the ground.
Come on.
Oh, I gotcha.
Wrong time to run out of ammo.
LAPD, hands up!
Victor Sanders.
You know this guy?
I should have known.
Of course I know Roy. Roy and I have had an arrangement for
Get
many
up.
years.
You're under arrest.
Am I?
We have a mountain of prima facie evidence, as well as the testimony.
You'd be surprised how things have a habit of sorting themselves out. Evidence disappearing. Witnesses that can't be found. Policemen that forget. The impossible becomes probable when you have a client list like mine.
Shut your mouth. Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Working vice can be a thankless task, Phelps. But on behalf of the brass and the moms and dads and the concerned citizens, I'd like to commend you and your partner for smashing this dope ring. Reefer is almost as big a threat to the children of this city as communism.
What about Sanders, Lieutenant?
Leave Sanders to me, Phelps. The chief will be looking after that one personally.
He will be brought to trial.
Phelps, we are celebrating your success. Don't push your luck. Sanders is no longer your problem.
He's not going to be brought to trial. Even without Victor Sanders, the Parnell Soup pot bus is guaranteed to go down in LAPD history. And I found, how many did I get all the pieces of evidence? Let me just move my camera here. Yeah, I got all evidence in the case. Okay, yeah, so basically, if I'm getting this right, there was no Ernesto, or did we kill Ernesto at the soup factory? But let me see here. I'm just checking the No, Ernesto was the guy that we Ernesto was the guy who we killed at the factory. Okay, so yeah, so about this Sanders guy is okay. So basically, Ernesto was not the drug lord here. The drug lord was actually Sanders. And so because, yeah, those guys, they sounded to me like they had kind of New York accents, like more like East Coast accent, at least the gangsters that you were fighting in the abandoned metalworks place. But anyways, so Sanders was the mastermind behind this drug operation, and basically Ernesto was the guy who would bring in the drugs from Mexico. So he would bring in the marijuana from Mexico, and then Sanders would basically employ Ernesto to basically use a soup company, and then Ernesto, all of those guys were working for Ernesto there. Yeah, so that was basically it. So he was the mastermind behind the whole thing. So it was it says on the LA Noire wiki that he has possible connections to the mafia. But I guess that's basically the backstory behind that. So literally, we were looking at this all the wrong way. We thought that Ernesto was the mastermind, but it actually wasn't Ernesto. Ernesto was basically like this the front runner for Sanders, and Ernesto was probably not just the front runner. He was probably the fall guy. That's probably it. Is somebody like Sanders? Barely had any. So yeah, I was reading it wrong. Ernesto's the guy we killed in the warehouse. He was the guy with the red shirt on. But somebody like Sanders probably had very little contact with anyone, because if you notice, Sanders' name was not brought up once in the entire case. Not once was his name brought up. And the reason for that is because he didn't talk to anybody else. He didn't. He limited the amount of people that he talked to. He only had his own gang with him there, but he was very smart about how he went about it. He limited the amount of people that he had contact with. And if something happened, if the operation basically fell apart, Ernesto was really the only guy he probably dealt with. And he was probably very secretive about Ernesto. He probably didn't even give Ernesto his real name. That's probably what. So the majority of those guys didn't even know Sanders. So Sanders covered his tracks well, and Ernesto was basically his fall guy if anything happened. He's probably going to get released. That's the guy is very well known. He's extremely rich and powerful. There was a lot of corruption back then, and how the captain basically said it's not your concern anymore. Basically, what they are probably going to do is the marijuana ring is going to be shut down, at least for now. But what the police are probably going to do is they're probably going to throw it all on Ernesto. They're going to probably say, oh, Ernesto was the mastermind. He was behind everything. When no, Ernesto was just the guy that was moving stuff from Mexico for Sanders. Sanders was the mastermind in all this. But they're probably going to pin it all on they're probably going to pin it all on Ernesto. That's probably what's going to end up happening. As for the, I'll tell you something, is everybody else involved in that case, they need to be protected. Is like, that guy, the one guy that we saw at the shop, he needs to be protected. Because literally there's a risk. Even if that guy can't identify Sanders, he's still at risk of being killed. Because he failed. Because Sanders is going to be pissed, and he's going to want to know exactly how this whole thing went down. So even if Sanders is released, he's going to be pissed, and he's going to want everybody basically involved with their heads. So that's basically what I was getting at with this, is that's the thing that people ignore oftentimes when it comes to marijuana, is the people that are involved in this, that are distributing this stuff are oftentimes extremely dangerous. Like I said, I know people are going to say, what about the guy who grows marijuana in his backyard? I'm not talking about the guy who grows marijuana in his backyard. He's harmless. I'm talking about the people that literally move like tons of stuff of this, like tons of marijuana, actually, like massive rings like this. The people that are in charge of this are really, really bad people. These are really ruthless, cold-blooded guys, and these guys would even kill kids. That's what I say is, they'll even kill kids to protect their drug shipments. So that's how ruthless these guys are, and that's, I think, one thing that a lot of times people ignore when they're talking about marijuana. So I think ultimately, when it comes to marijuana, is I think that it should be, it should be done to a referendum, let the people decide on it. But this was definitely my favorite case out of all the Vice cases so far. I've never played this case. It was my first time, and I did enjoy it. I got almost everything right. The only thing I messed up on is that one question of Parnell there. But I did pretty well in this case, and I got 5 stars. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys. Oh, and wait, we have a World War II scene here, too.
What remains of recon. I'm folding you into the 22nd. You'll be going up that damned hill tonight.
We're intelligence gathering, sir.
I don't need intelligence, son. I need men who can hold rifles and kill Japs. Tonight, you're a rifle company. We've got cooks, mechanics, and stretcher bearers all going into the line. We aim to break them tonight, Lieutenant.
Good to see you, Hank.
You too, Cole. How's your war?
Not quite what I expected.
As long as I live, I will never get over that sound.
Hey, who's that medic? He'll be killed going out there. It's Sheldon, the guy from the Osakawa Bridge. That guy's got no fear. He didn't make it.
I didn't go out there to save him.
What are you saying, man?
I went out there to put him out of his misery, to ease his pain. Do you have a problem with that?
Murder, Corman.
That's war, Lieutenant. Smell the stench. Feel the whore's breath on your neck.
You need help, man.
Call for midnight, Lieutenant. When you're up on that hill. I've been up there 3 times already. The circles of hell have nothing on Sugarloaf Hill.
Get this madman out of my sight!
I will also say here is that he is Sheldon, depending on the circumstances, actually might be right. There are certain injuries that you cannot save people from, and they are still suffering. And so, literally, if that guy, if Sheldon's a medic, and so if he understands that there's no chance of saving that guy is going to die, and the Japanese are going to basically swarm the area. If the Japanese capture that guy, he's gonna die regardless. They're gonna keep torturing him until he's, dead. And so that might have been, the best course of action. It seems cruel, but if there was no saving him, if he was gonna die regardless, then it might have been, I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing, but if he had no choice, then it was basically to end his suffering. I know it might sound cruel, horrible, but if he couldn't save him, it's better to do that than, have him suffer up there and possibly the Japanese coming up there and torturing him until his last breath. There was nothing he could have done. But honestly, why did that squad not back him up when he was, going up the hill to save the guy? And also, here's the thing, in the Pacific Theater, one other thing I'll say is that at the start of the Pacific Theater, medics had, the medic armband on their arms, and they had, the red cross on their helmets, but they got rid of that really quickly. You know why? Because the Japanese were trained specifically to shoot at medics. They were specifically trained to do that, and the Japanese did not care about that. It's kind of ironic how the Japanese talk so much about honor, but yet they did stuff like that. They purposely targeted medics. That's why medics were armed in the Pacific. That's literally why medics carried M1 carbines a lot of times. That's why they had M1 carbines, because the Japanese did not care and they would shoot at them regardless. And when it comes to the Western Front of World War II, largely medics did not get shot. I mean, sometimes it happened under machine gun fire, but if a soldier identified another medic, oftentimes they wouldn't shoot them. So this happened in the Italian front and the Western Front in France. Is that if a German soldier saw an American medic, getting his guy, chances are he probably would not shoot him, and the same thing would probably happen if an American saw a German medic getting him, or an Italian saw an American medic. They probably would not shoot. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. It does happen. They still shoot at medics, but the chances of it happening in the Pacific were much higher, where they would shoot at medics. They definitely would. But when it comes to the Eastern Front was very different. In the Eastern Front, both sides did it. So in the Eastern Front, Soviet soldiers would shoot German medics, and German soldiers would shoot Soviet medics. So on the Eastern Front, literally, the Eastern Front was like the most brutal part of the European conflict. It wasn't just not even just the scale of it. The battles were much bigger in the Eastern Front, but it wasn't just about the battles. It was the brutality of it. The brutality of the battles in the Eastern Front were just much more horrible. When the Germans captured Soviet prisoners of war, they would mass murder them. When the Soviets captured German prisoners of war, they would mass murder them. So literally, the Eastern Front, both sides, Germans and Soviets, targeted medics. They both executed prisoners. When it came to the Western Front, prisoners were more likely to be taken on both sides, and largely they didn't shoot medics. That's something that typically happened in the Pacific. I'm not saying it didn't happen. You did have that one scene in Saving Private Ryan where the sniper was actually waiting for an American medic to hit him. So it did happen, but the scale of it happening on the Eastern Front in the Pacific was much bigger than what it was in Western Europe and the Italian Front. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this part. I hope you guys like my commentary. I know the commentary sometimes makes the videos kind of long, but I hope you guys like hearing my opinion on a lot of these things. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you did, do drop a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.